Hello and welcome back to the ins and outs of sex. Thank you for joining me and my co-host Katrina as we go into of sex and make it all a bit more open. Katrina obviously is a sex coach, and I am a comedian, highly qualified for this area of study. A comedian who is exceedingly experienced in the world of sex, and that is not true. Right. Katrina, what are we covering this week? You tell the listeners at home this time. Normally it's me.
Absolutely. So today we are covering the most underrated, underestimated, the most sweet, erotic, wonderful, passionate, simple, beautiful act of kissing.
Oh, you said it so much nicer than I think it's underrated because it's hard to practice. You know, this thing's hard to practice on your own. You don't want to be caught doing. You just you don't. We've all been there with a Hoover and a pair of lemon slices. That's how we do it, right? No, no, I've been doing it wrong. How? So, what is it about kissing? What makes it so erotic and intimate, and what do we need to know about it?
The beauty of kissing is that it is very much underrated and overlooked because we do it so automatically when we like somebody and we're attracted to them. We don't necessarily stop to think about the act, and we don't appreciate that a well placed kiss that's been well executed, for the lack of a better word, can ignite the passion that perhaps has been lost and can provide an ember for the fire that will burn later on. So when people get into relationship and they've been together for a while, a lot of the times people just, peck on the cheek in the morning, or peck on the lips just very quickly. And the art of kissing isn't getting the same attention that it could and should, because a well enacted kiss can, figuratively speaking, melt somebody's knickers off them and get them really hot and bothered and ready to rumble. And it is about, absolutely.
Sex coach speak. Melt someone's knickers off them. That's great.
But it is, if it's the anticipation when you look into somebody's eyes, and it starts with that look that both of you know, I'm going to kiss you. And that already, when you know that we're not talking as a peck on the lips, we are talking kiss, a full-on kiss. That alone, that look on the face, that anticipation of that kiss, it's what starts the whole process. It starts the whole experience. And then you get closer to each other. You can sense the body next to the body. You're fully clothed, but you are getting closer. The presence of the other person's body is there, and the lips just start to brush on each other. And you go deeper, and it can be a very slow and sensual. It can be very hungry kiss. It can be very passionate. It can be with tongue, without tongue. It can include a nibble on a lip. There is a lot to be said about that, and the digits. You don't ever just stand and kiss somebody. I'm going to turn sideways and, snog them whilst, you keep your hands in the air like, you're about to be arrested. That very rarely happens, and your hands start to wander over the other person's body. There's not necessarily anything ultimately sexual happening other than holding that person. But again, it's how you're being held when that intimate, passionate kiss is taking place. From a female perspective, personally, I've experienced times where I have been kissed and a man sort of held his hand kind of, on my cheek, with his thumb caressing my cheek, and that felt very warm. It felt very secure. It gave me that sense of security and being looked after.
Yeah.
Then a hand that actually goes into the hair and the back of the neck starts to feel more possessive in that kind of wanting and yearning way. And that's, again, very erotic. Then hand trailing up and down the back, even up and down the spine, again, sends a completely different sensation. Very passionate, very intimate. And that's just the back, the neck, the hair, and the cheek. We're not really, going into the obvious erogenous zones like somebody's bum or somebody's hips or somebody's boobs. We're not even there yet. And that alone, combined with kissing, with that passionate, intimate, deep kind of kissing, can really do the trick.
I think people, especially men, tend to see kissing as a gateway. Like they see it as the first stage, like they see it as the beachhead. Make a leeway onto the other stuff. And I think that's a mistake. It should be enjoyable all on its own. Should be an important part of it. And if anything, you should try to keep that going for as long as it's really sensible, right? I mean, don't be crazy with it. Don't be like 3 years into the marriage. Yeah, you've had 2 kids. You're not sure how. You're still only kissing this. You have to make sure that it's a reasonable amount of time. But I think that people do rush it. They do rush past that. I will, hold my hands up. I've been one of those people that, I think we've all done it. We've all been there, and we're like, yeah, come on. Yeah, this is great. I like this bit, but we're trying to get through this bit to the next bit. We've all been there. And sometimes you get into a habit of, when you're in a relationship with someone for a long time, you get into a habit of that being maybe it's the signal. I think that's it's the signal for more stuff. You know what I mean? Am I wrong there? I would say that in some relationships it just becomes disregarded because it's merely just the opening salvo. Yeah. Have I used so many war terms? I'm not into that.
That's why I said right in the very beginning that it is so underestimated and overlooked.
Yeah.
Because a good kiss, a good intensive kissing, making out session like that can be sufficient foreplay, that no other foreplay is ready, because by the time you just finish kissing and you somehow realize that you also happen to be undressed, you just want to go and have sex because it was that intense.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it can serve another purpose. If you had that kind of session and say that was before you had to go and do something,
yeah,
I can guarantee, and I'm willing to stake my reputation here on air, that you will be on that person's mind all day long.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
So then the chance that when you come home from work, and normally you would perhaps be tired and perhaps not be in the mood, and perhaps you wouldn't want anything else, you just want to chill and rest. There is a very high probability that after a good makeout session in the morning, not sex, just making out, just kissing, passionately, really going for it, and then having to go, would result in you coming from work home to your partner and jumping straight to bed, because the thing that would be lingering on the person's mind is, I want some more of that. This was awesome. I had to put up with work. The good thing is it also has the additional benefit, completely unrelated to the relationship, but the fact that it will make the day likely to go better, because anything that will happen, any negative potential event that can happen during the day, will be more likely dismissed, because what's going to be on the person's mind is the hot, awesome kissing that happened in the morning. Yes. And knowing that they're going back home to the same person that was kissing them so hot in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you have that person on your mind? You're in the wrong. I think if you don't, if that person isn't on your mind after a makeout session, you probably that's a good sign the relationship's over. You might be like, we need to
Or
think
that there
about
is
maybe we
some
need to.
significant trouble.
There's something wrong there. You definitely need to do that. So, what would you say was the? See, I've been told that the best way to know when to kiss someone is you lean in 70% of the way and they come 30, so it's a bit more like you're not like forcing yourself on them and stuff, so that it's not like you're trying to eat them. But also, what would you say was the best way to kiss someone so that they remember you like that through the day? Or is it just the same? Is it just different for everyone?
So in one of our previous videos, I've mentioned the showing strength through vulnerability, and that is through asking, can I do this? Is this okay? Am I doing this right? Same story with kissing. One thing is the leaning in, absolutely reading that body language, but there is also something incredibly sweet and incredibly erotic in actually leaning in, looking into the person's eyes and asking them, is it okay for me to kiss you now? Can I kiss you now? Should I kiss you? Do you want to be kissed now? There's nothing wrong with that.
Just the once. Don't do it that many times.
Just one of the. These were just all the
one of
options.
those.
Just some. Yes, just one of those.
It's not
But
over and over
absolutely
again.
asking, leaning into your partner, and if you're still a bit unsure, ask, "Can I kiss you now?" And you will get a clear yes or no.
Yeah, and that was good for me. Just that's all I've done.
But it's really sweet. When a man can do that. There's nothing less masculine about man who does this.
Yeah, agreed.
And it helps both parties to make sure that they definitely want this. And
I'd
as
say
to
it
the
from
technique,
both sides as well. Sorry,
absolutely,
but women
no,
do it.
absolutely.
You should do it. I think
absolutely.
that there's something. I think that there is as a man who is in a hetero relationship, it is very lovely to receive things that you wouldn't normally receive, and I don't mean sexually, but like a request for a kiss, like flowers or things like that. And there's something almost, it throws you off guard, but also it tells you it's okay to be vulnerable, which is just a lovely. And I've been in all sorts of relationships, and my final one is a straight one, and there is something so off-put, but it does actually open up a whole new area of the relationship if the person who would normally be vulnerable put themselves in a situation where they're not the vulnerable one, and they put the person who is not normally vulnerable in this situation where they are the vulnerable one. It completely changes, and it can make you, like, it makes me very excited. Like, if I'm not the person who's doing it, then it's like, ooh, someone wants me.
It lets you know you're wanted. Exactly.
Yeah, that's it. That's what. So I would say, because you said about men, and I was thinking, even whichever side you come from, I think, and whichever straight, gay, whatever, I think if you're in the situation where you can reverse it, you should try and balance it.
The only reason why I was saying it as to a man is because you asked, and I'm speaking to you.
I'm really just glad that you see me as a man. That's what I'm really glad. Really happy.
It's a great. I think the best way to say it is that it's a great aphrodisiac.
Yeah.
Ask whoever asks in a relationship, straight, bi, gay, it matters not. The gender, the sexes, it really don't matter. And we're only using them in this discussion just because it's easier as proverbs, I suppose.
Yeah. It's just because we're both presenting the same sex that we are. Yeah.
Exactly. But whichever partner does initiate and asks, that's just the most brilliant aphrodisiac, because it does let the other person know they are wanted. And there's nothing as erotic, as hot as making somebody feel wanted.
Yeah. We're simple creatures, men, women. We're simple creatures. I think that even just a bit of paper with the words "I want you" written on it would be enough, and it doesn't. They don't even have to be in the room. just in your pocket of work. Just pull it out. Oh God, that would like it would blow my mind. I don't know about you, but it would just. I'd be like, oh my God. It just reminds you. So a kiss, when you initiate a kiss, saying "Can I kiss you?" and but also it takes it back. I think like in new relationships, obviously that seems like politeness and but in existing relationships, been going for a while, it takes you back to that honeymoon period.
Absolutely. And I suppose to me, that kind of kiss beforehand that then leaves a pause and anticipation of things to come later is almost like that kind of note that's in person's mind that tells them all the time, like on repeat, you know, like a movie on a loop. They want me, they want me, they want me. And it's amazing how much passion can be reignited with just the right kind of kiss. And to answer your second question, you know, what's the right way to kiss? I think, again, one of the themes throughout our videos is it really depends on the person. It depends on people's preference, and it will also depend on the situation. Because you may be in different moods, you may be in different situations where you prefer a bit slower, sensual kiss, and then other times you want a hungry kiss where you can just feel the person's hunger for you. The one thing though that matters not, and one thing that is a stable ingredient that makes a kiss a good one, no matter what the style it is that it is genuine. It doesn't matter whether it's slow and sensual or, you know, really hungry and passionate, as long as the kiss is genuine because you genuinely want that person, that kiss will be the right kind of kiss. Whether it's clumsy, whether, you know, you do something silly during it, it doesn't matter, as long as it is done with the intention of making that person feel wanted, because that's what you want to do, rather than say feel you should be doing. If there's that genuine want, it will be a perfect kiss.
That's lovely. You're right. You're absolutely right. I actually have something to add here before we wrap up, because I actually have some genuine authority on this subject. And I will say, facial hair. If you've got facial hair, go slow and gentle. Slow and gentle. Because these, in any situation, these are little knives. They're little needles above your lip. It doesn't matter if you've got a mustache and like the beard, not so much. But a mustache is like it's like razor wire. When you go in, be very aware that when you've got your lips stuck out. Why did I do the thing?
Duck face.
That's not how I kiss. Like Daffy, like Donald Duck. When you go in for a kiss and you've got facial hair, be very aware that you are presenting a person with something delightful, covered in barbed wire. So just be very careful. It's one of the very rare times on our show when I'll be able to approach something with genuine authority. But I've been there where you're like, oh, I love you so much. Now I don't want to touch you ever again because you have stabbed me in the face.
Yes, you end up with like, it's great for exfoliation, I suppose, you know.
I mean, it goes for the same. You know, I would say if you've got facial hair, be careful where you're going with it. That's all I'm saying. You just give anyone road rash. That's all you're doing. Is you're giving someone road rash. Katrina, have you got anything else to add on this subject before we say goodbye to our viewers, listeners?
Don't forget to kiss the people you're with, passionately, genuinely, intimately. Don't forget about kissing, because it is an incredibly important and powerful tool in your sex toolbox.
Sexual arsenal. Yes, I like it. Just to continue the theme. I had to. I don't know. It's the only one. Why is it? Love is a battlefield. That's all I can. All right. Thank you very much for listening to us or watching us. If you have any questions that you want to field to me or Katrina, or you've got a topic that you want us to cover, please drop an email to the email address in the description of this video or description of this podcast if you're listening. Once again, I've been Chris. This has been Katrina, and this has been the ins and outs of sex. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.